Babylon, man, I've been so torn thinking about this world lately. Babylon, truth is so deluded and it drives me crazy. Babylon, this lost world is so hopeless. Babylon, Jesus Christ, that's where hope is. Babylon, no matter what they say, it's still so lost. Listen.
Before destruction, the heart of man is haughty, and before honor is humility. He that answereth a matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him. The spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity, but a wounded spirit who can bear? The heart of the prudent getteth knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeketh knowledge. A man's gift maketh room for him, and bringeth him before great men. He that is first in his own cause seemeth just, but his neighbor cometh and searcheth him. The lot causeth contentious to cease, and parteth between the mighty. A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city, and their contentions are like the bars of a castle. A man's belly shall be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth, and with the increase of his lips shall he be filled. This is Resisting Balaam, a podcast where we seek to encourage the saints to stand firm with him on his word against all the accusations made by the world, the flesh, and the devil, as we engage the culture of death that demands the sacrifice of our children. All right, this is the Wrath and Grace podcast called Resisting Balaam. Go check out the guys at Wrath and Grace at wrathandgrace.com. They have a lot of merchandise. They've got sermons, music, a whole bunch of stuff, so go check them out. If you enjoy this content, please share it, like it, support us on Patreon, so that we can continue to put out content like this and go around giving lectures and doing all the work that we do here at Resisting Balaam. And you can support us at patreon.com/resisting Balaam. Okay, so today we have a guest interview, and we are going to be talking about her life as a pro-life activist and how that changed, and now dealing with abolitionism and all of the consequences and implications with that. So, Makayla, why don't you introduce yourself real quick? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Makayla. I'm from a small town in Texas. I'm actually 18 years old. I turned 19 in 1 week. I was pro-life for about three or 4 years. I was raised in a strong pro-life family, but I really got into the activism about 3 years ago. I ran an Instagram page with a couple thousand followers for a while, and I eventually switched over to abolitionism after finding a few different pages and doing my research, and I really came to realize that the pro-life movement is not what it says it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and thank you. And this is why we're having you on our show, and we want to encourage people with your story. So you said that you came from a family that's pro-life, and so it's something that you grew up with, but you really began to get active about 3 or 4 years ago. What type of stuff got you involved with just pro-life stuff?
Right, so about, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, it was it was about in June or July, there was a lot of heartbeat bills being passed and a lot of outrage around them. So I had a private Instagram account. I was posting a lot of pro-life content on it, and I was getting a lot of backlash. So I had the idea to just make a pro-life page and spread the message on there. So that's eventually what I ended up doing, and it just took off. So
So a lot of this has to deal with your online footprint, the content that you put out online through Instagram. And so when you saw these heartbeat bills coming up, and you started posting about them and getting involved with just sharing pro-life content, you had some people coming out, but you also started getting a lot of followers because of the content you were putting out. Can you describe a little bit the difference between the backlash you got, what types of things people were saying, and then talk about the life support that you got on your page?
right, I did get a lot of backlash. I was doxxed a few times by pro-choicers. I got into a lot of drama and with a lot of people. I have a lot of people blocked on that account. Um, I would get death threats, rape threats, a whole abundance of just hateful messages. A lot of pro-choicers DMing me saying like, "We know what we're doing. Like, we're not stupid. We know what abortion is." And as a pro-lifer, part of you just doesn't want to believe that. Part of you just wants to
Right.
believe that, these people are misled and they don't know what they're talking about. They're brainwashed. And it wasn't until running the page for quite a while that I began to catch on and realize that what these pro-lifers are saying, it doesn't add up. Um,
Right.
Now,
But you did have a lot of pro-life people following your page, right? So
right,
your page, it wasn't just like you had one or two followers. I mean, you had a couple of thousand people following you and the content that you're putting out.
right. I gained about over 6,000 followers. I believe 6,500, something along that. It happened pretty quickly, and I don't think I was fully prepared for it, but I was kind of thrown into it. The content I made just kind of took off, and it resonated with a lot of people, I guess. So,
So what kind of content were you putting out?
um,
If you can give us some
yeah,
examples.
just the very basic, like, uh, women deserve better than abortion, life begins at conception, stuff along that lines, the very basic pro-life message. I do
And
a lot of
there's
scientific posts.
something I was going to say,
Yeah.
there's something with um, your account that you are, for one thing, you have information that I've never seen before. You made a post, one of your most recent posts, or your most recent post, you made a post. I was like, where did that information even come from? How did she find that? I was like, that's incredible. That's a good research paper. So you're really good at finding research, and those are truths that most people don't have. Like, we wouldn't know where to even look for them. So I really respect the effort that you put into your posts, and it's good information for pro-life people and for
Yeah,
abolitionists.
I put a lot of effort into my research and everything like that. Um, I probably have tens of thousands of notes with just different articles and captions, things like that. Um, it was more on the scientific side, my page and the posts, which uh, I have mixed feelings about now. Fighting abortion with
Mhm.
science, I do believe it is, it's a good argument, but it's not, I don't think it should be the main argument.
Right.
Right. It's good to shut the mouth of the fool. I mean,
Right.
just to expose the inconsistencies of the pro-choice movement, but it also works on shutting the mouth of the pro-life person that will say life starts at conception. Hooray, we're only going to sanction the murder of children after 7 weeks or whatever pro-life healthcare law they happen to be supporting. So for a couple of years, though, you're gaining followers. You're putting out good content as far as truthful claims, and there's a lot of compassion for the women and just for these children. But along the way, you start seeing an inconsistency with the claims of the pro-life movement and the interaction that you're getting with pro-choice people. I mean, that's where a lot of this started. You're you're being told that these women don't know what they're doing, but the women are telling you, oh yeah, I know exactly what I'm doing, and they're being vile and violent towards you about you telling them they don't know what they're doing.
Right.
So how far along into this activism did that realization come?
So it was about, I'd say, 2.5 years. I had my very first time going to an abortion clinic is when a lot of things started clicking for me. I
Right.
went to Southwestern Women's Options in Dallas, I believe. It's the only abortion clinic in Texas, or at the time it was, that did abortions until 21 weeks, I believe. And it was it was really rough. Seeing a woman walk in visibly pregnant, refuse our
Mm-hmm.
assistance, and walk out with empty wombs. It was really hard. We
Hmm.
had a lot of, a lot of cussing, a lot of vile women, just out of control people, really. And it made me start to think, are these women really victims? That really woke me up to a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
that's something we see a lot too. They're never, um, and we have heard other people that minister at the clinics say the same thing. It's a common consensus that they're never, when we you have the opportunity to speak to a woman, they're never, um, they're very certain that it's a baby. They're very vocal about the fact that it is a baby and that it's their baby,
mhm,
and that as such, because it is their baby, that they have every right to kill their baby. And they will use the word murder. They will say kill. They're very set in what they're doing, and they know why, and they know whom they're doing it to, and they don't think themselves victims
absolutely. I
really,
saw a
of
lot of
it
that.
at all.
Yeah, I saw a lot of that there. And I took a long break after that from my pro life account. I did a little bit more sidewalk counseling or ministering, and uh, I did take a break from that. And then I came back. I started making posts like I have one on criminalization, which was pretty unpopular. I lost a lot of followers for that one. I also did one,
That's wild.
yeah, I did one on women being victims, and I also shared a post abortive woman's story on how she's not a victim. I did those three posts in a row, and I lost a couple hundred followers, and I got a lot of backlash. A lot of my pro life friends blocked me just straight up, you know. Um, I even tagged some people I knew who were for criminalization in it, and I got DMs asking to be untagged because they were part of certain
Wow.
groups and they couldn't be associated with me. They didn't want people to know that that's how they truly felt.
Man.
Wow.
So, and this is from pro-life people, not the pro-choice people that are like letting you know, yes, I do know what I'm doing, and are being vile about it. These are the pro-life people that are now starting to unfollow you, block you, tell you, hey, yeah, I actually agree with you. However, because of the perception, I can't be associated with you in particular. As that's happening, how does that make you feel about the pro-life movement? You or just the ideology itself?
It really turned me off from it. It made me explore my other options, and it's actually what made me find abolitionism. I was researching into different pages, and yeah, it just it gave me a really off feeling about the pro life movement. Like, they're just really not open to new ideas. They're not open to new ways to abolish abortion. And it really made me start to think, what if they don't want abortion abolished? A lot of these groups and organizations, they make so much money off of fighting abortion. Maybe they don't want it abolished.
Right. So, what are some of the resources that you found on abolition then, as you're searching?
I think the first page I came across was Not a Victim. Going through their page, I reposted a lot of their stuff. It really opened my eyes. The second page, I think, was Free the States, and then I found you guys through them, through an interview they did. Whenever I found them, I binge watched them for a couple weeks, like every video.
Like drinking from a fire hose.
Yes.
It's really good.
And the things they were saying just made so much sense. It it really clicked with me then that I was in the wrong movement and I couldn't continue to be pro life. I just couldn't.
Right.
I think it's great that you found the Not a Victim page and
Yeah, it's
was
a
able
good.
to go through there. So, what was some of the content on that page in particular that really drew you to search more about that kind of content?
Just seeing all of the post abortive mothers and pre post abortive mothers talking about murdering their babies, it was really sad to see that it's just spoken about so openly and that this is really something that the pro life movement ignores. They don't want people to know that women really do know what they're doing. They brag about what they're doing, and they don't
Right.
regret what they're doing. So that really made me want to search more into other options and other movements.
And there may be, I'm sorry, excuse me, there may be, you may be aware, but Not a Victim has done extensive work attempting to campaign to the legislators and get the victim packets with really nice graphics and things into the hands of every single legislator in the state of Texas, so that they will stop following that victim narrative that is false, to at least see that the overwhelming majority of women that are abortive online are not the same as the women that are going into a crisis pregnancy center to get help. That once they hit that line where they're abortive, they're very vile. Their hearts are set on murder, and so they've done. Not a Victim has done a great job campaigning. Um, it's really an actually very small ministry, but really trying to get the word out to influence the culture, the pro-life culture. And so it will be very encouraging for Not a Victim when they see this episode. They will be extremely encouraged, as will Free the.
Christine, keep up the good work.
Yeah,
Like
her name is Christine. I was trying not to say that, but her name is Christine.
yeah, keep up
Yeah.
with all the stuff. So, when you were doing all of the life, content and stuff, do you believe the narrative that women are victims, that they don't know what they're doing, that that was true, that the clinics and the people that are going to kill, that they're being coerced, that they don't know that they're, is that something that you believe?
I want to say that I did believe that, but I feel like a part of me deep inside knew that these women knew what they were doing and that they needed to be criminalized. But deep into my pro life work, I did start to believe the narrative that women were victims. I posted a lot of content, saying that they were victims, that there were no need for criminalization for their actions. I fought against it for a long time against a lot of people. So yeah, I did start to believe it at one point.
I think it's really interesting. I think that is one of the largest hurdles that we have to in the pro-life movement, and just in general, is this idea of women as victims that's why you won't criminalize is for that reason. I think the pro-life movement has done a fantastic of pushing their narrative. I think that they really pushed the idea so much that even the real life contradiction, pro-life people still will say no, they're victims, and they'll still fight against criminalization. So I don't know if you saw Abby Johnson last week post a video about the woman that just was convicted of killing her child because she took a bunch of drugs, and the child died at like 18 weeks, and she was just musing about, hey, you know, of course she should be convicted because she should be held accountable because she knows it's a child. In the court case, it's a child, and I think there's this what needs to happen, and I'm really grateful that she put that video out because it really primes the pump for this conversation about criminalization because women do actually know, and it's interesting how angry they get about that specific topic, right? That this is what makes them mad, that children are being killed.
Absolutely. I
So you go ahead.
I did see that post. I've seen it going around, and I think it's very telling that in this case, they believe that the woman knows it's a child, but when it comes to abortion, they don't feel the same. And it's like one used drugs, the other used instruments or abortion drugs. It's the same situation.
Right, right,
Right.
right. Absolutely.
It's huge inconsistency that are unwilling to accept. So you want not a victim and going to their page, and from there you found states. Was it a lot of blogs or videos that you were really, soaking in on Free the States?
Both, actually. I did a lot of research on their website, the 5 components of an abolition bill, reading about ignoring Roe. That was a big one for me, learning about that. And I have watched a lot of their videos. Same with Not a Victim. I did a lot of research on their website. I really liked the page about ultrasounds. That really did wake me up. I hadn't heard of that before that, and it really did. It was a mind changer for sure.
That's awesome. All right, so Russell, James, keep up the good work.
Yeah.
They put out a lot of good content, and they really get behind other organizations and other people that are putting out content and try to share each other's stuff. So you came across Not a Victim, Free the States, just started looking in all of this information. About how long ago was that?
I'd say 6 months ago to a year.
Oh,
Yeah. I found Not a Victim pretty early on, and then the rest followed. So
Right.
once I found
And so from that,
once I found you guys, and I watched Cheryl's video about having an abortion and everything, it helped me with my position. Knowing that, oh wow, post-abortive women actually believe this too. That really helped me.
right. I think that's the video with Sonia.
Yeah.
okay.
Sonia and myself at the Capitol. Yeah.
I think Free the States has also done a project where they record post-abortive women talking about how they feel now about and things like that. I think it's a good project, and that's probably something that we need to do more of because it is that impactful, it seems. So you start hearing all of this abolitionist content. seeing it on the line, various pages, do you start sharing it at this point, or are you just kind of keeping it to yourself?
Yes, I started sharing it. I had a few highlights on my page, and I mostly just shared it to my story because I guess I wasn't ready to post it, on my main page and receive all that backlash. I did definitely get it in my DMs though. Um, and part of me created this new account because I just don't feel like the following I have right now. Well, it's not that they wouldn't receive it well. I know they wouldn't receive it well, and it's not that I'm necessarily scared of the backlash, but I just don't feel that I can continue to run that account just with the history and just like the rest of the posts and everything. I just wanted a clean start.
Yeah.
So you started getting backlash from some of your friends in DMs because of the content that you started sharing. Um,
Absolutely.
what kind of things are they saying? I mean, you don't
Um,
have to give
yeah.
specifics, and I'm not asking like, who said what. I'm just like, in general, what are some of the things that came against you?
I got a lot of, you're hateful. You hate post abortive
Wow.
women. Um, you want to jail woman. You want to, all sorts of accusations. Um, but it was mostly along the lines of you hate post abortive women. And it's like, no, I don't want them to kill babies. That's all it
Yeah.
is.
Right. Right. And really, like, it is because that we don't want them to kill their babies. That's why. It is because we love them.
Right.
If we hated them, it's like a bad parent. A bad parent will let you do whatever you want to do. The Lord says that you don't love your child if you don't discipline them. So it's because we love them. We want them to not have the legal ability, the legal sanctioning to just let this happen. Because once it is criminalized, it will stop a lot of people otherwise choose to like follow the law. The law is it's a tutor and it's a buffer from doing evil, and it hold people back from stumbling to the slaughter.
So as you're transitioning and you're starting to share abolitionist-minded content on criminal and other things, how quickly do you start losing followers and getting mean messages back at you from friends?
Oh, immediately. The second I posted that criminalization post, I lost over 100 followers. I did gain a few, just people who liked the post, but for the majority, I lost a lot of pro life people, like a lot of students for life. I had a lot of friends from there that did not want anything to do with me. A lot of live action people as well. Um, it was it was a big change. I had a lot of friends that just didn't want to associate with me anymore simply because of my views surrounding criminalization. Um, it was really tough.
Yeah. So are you getting more pushback now from them or from pro-choice people still?
I have not got anything from pro choice people on my page. It has all been pro lifers, and it is pro lifers that I have once known and were once friends with. Um, they do not like abolitionists, and I've came to realize that they really don't like us. So,
Right.
Right.
Which it's very bizarre. I would say too, it's very rare for me to have interaction. Even if I do have interaction, it's extremely civil. We may disagree. Sometimes it's not, and it's very ugly. I've never received like dirty threats and stuff from people, uh, but I agree with that. Especially different platforms behave differently. So especially within like Instagram is my platform, And
That's because you got kicked off of Twitter.
I've been kicked off of Twitter.
Me too.
Abolition not really popular, but yeah,
Which people are like
are
vile
so
and nasty.
mean.
It's like
But they're
Twitter,
they're not having
you know,
abolition
just-
on Twitter. Yeah, so I have pushback or people being even just angry with me has been from pro-life people. And so it's really interesting, and I've made another close friend that it was about a year ago. Um, been following me, lived in like Central Texas, had been following me. I didn't know them, didn't know who they were, and they came to abolition, and then they started like, why don't you tell me more about this abolition stuff? And so just encourage you, just as you're an encouragement to other people, to encourage you that it is effective, even if we don't see. My account grows like at a snail's pace. It grows so slow. Abolition's not super popular, and it doesn't get you a lot of followers
Right.
really fast. But it grows so slow. I'm at like 800, and I've been on Instagram for like a decade. So, but it is effective. That it does. People see it. The Lord's going to do with it what He wants to do with it. So I encourage you to be don't lose hope. To don't not lose hope in what you're doing.
yeah. So, if you could encourage people, what would you say to encourage?
I'd encourage them to look more into abolitionism for sure. There's a side and there's a place for them here. You don't have to give into the narrative that post-abortive women are victims. Trying to think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that I found really exciting about you in particular, in your story, is a lot of times we put out a lot of content, whether it's on Instagram, a lot of memeing, a lot of video, audio. There's a lot of content that we put out, and um, it's liked by our friends that are already abolitionists. It's under attack by people that we know that try to troll us from the life crowd. But we really don't see a
Don't see
lot
what
of people that see our content and end up searching more, finding more content, and then through that changing their mind.
right.
And so I would like people to be encouraged that your content, whatever it is, you might just write blog articles or short videos or long videos or whatever kind of content you put out. It makes an impact, and you might not see, you might never know that somebody saw it like a year ago, changed their mind, and now is doing work in their local area in a completely different state. So I'd like to encourage people that, hey, your content that you're putting out is being seen. You know, you may get backlash from people, and you may get like, it seems like zero interaction, but somebody saw it. It possibly made an impact.
Right. If one of us does a video, like he puts the podcast on YouTube, how many likes do you get? Like 5 or 12 or something?
Oh,
Like
people
on,
actually liking it?
yeah.
Oh, the most 10.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
okay,
about,
I got 20 people liked it. But,
and that's about the same. Like if I do a YouTube video, I get about 5 likes. A post on Instagram, I get like 20, maybe 20. 20 is a good one. 50 likes is like smoking, like fire hot.
But-
So you never know where they're going. But one of the things is like what you're facing and what you're dealing with is something that the legislators are also legislators that, such as like Brian Slayton, who's running an abolition bill, this session, and work in abolition this session as far as putting forth bills. And that's any time a legislator brings forth something of abolition, that's the backlash facing is the exact same backlash that they're facing. And so one of the things we want to do is try to encourage them. Hopefully, they will see this and be encouraged to stand even against the tide of the most popular opinion, because this isn't the most popular opinion, but this is the right opinion.
Right. Usually where I get the most interaction is when I anger a platformed pro-life person that shares my thing, shaking their fist like, "Can you believe this mean person thing?" And then that's usually what with interaction. But thank you for seeing the culture with my content. This is how I feel. So, hey, I just want to encourage you to continue to put out content, build your platform, whether it's like just Instagram posts or if you make videos, or keep, just keep sharing a true message, and don't be fearful of the consequences. Whether it's pro-choice people, which seem to back off, and it's now the pro-life ones. Okay, you guys made the decision to deviate from truth, right? So just be encouraged. Just do the right thing. Put out true content, and that be an indictment against your pro-life friends.
Have you seen the? I don't know if you are on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I do that. I'm never on Facebook. We have a Facebook. It's always Callie, never me. So, the Repentance at the Capitol Facebook group about the psalm singing at the Capitol. I don't know if you've seen that.
I haven't.
But the Facebook group is called Repentance at the Capitol, and every like 2 months we try to get abolitionists together to go to the Capitol and sing psalms in the rotunda, and then go out and just like have lunch. I'm like, have lunch.
Oh, you too.
Sometimes someone will go early and like preach outside the Capitol and things like that. So
Or go to the clinic.
It's really, or go to the clinic in the morning before going to the Capitol and then go to the Capitol. It's really good to be connected to other people, because you can really feel, especially because Texas is so large. I don't know if you know or have met another abolitionist in person.
I don't think so.
And so
and then being in small
towns, like we're way down in Victoria, you're way out in the country. And so we have no other like abolitionists that we could like reach out and actually in person necessarily around us. So it's really good to go and to connect with other people, and just not alone. You're not fighting alone, and it's really encouraging to come together. And so I highly recommend following that Facebook.
Yeah,
We'll be in
definitely.
McKinney next week. Next week we'll be in McKinney.
Yeah, for the Pro Life is Not Enough conference. It's her birthday.
Yeah,
Happy birthday.
thank you. I would love to go, but
And I hope you can for one day. If you can for one day, please come. It'll be wonderful. If not, the next good thing is in Muskogee, Oklahoma, which seems far, but it's like kind of close. You're in North Texas, right?
Yeah,
So,
that's 3 hours away.
Yeah, that's kind of close. What's the name of the Muskogee conference?
2-day conference on abolition.
I'll send you an Instagram link.
Yeah.
It's from Pastor Brett Baggett. I can't remember the name of the conference right now.
2-day conference on abolition. I'm not lying. That's what it's
called.
that
is the real name of it. Oh, I thought you were joking. I was like,
I'm speaking my documentary. Yeah, that'll be a good one too. And then there's the Oklahoma City deal in February. That'll be a good chance to like meet a bunch of people. Um, so yeah, I just want to encourage you to keep putting out content and don't let these fools get you down. You know, it's actually to me it's really encouraging because I know when they're coming against me, some people are seeing it and going, "Hey, wait a second. I've been following this lady for
Right.
quite some time, and this actually makes sense." And they'll start to see not only the fractures in the logic of the pro-life movement, but they'll see really how mean they are when they say that we're mean, which is kind of funny.
That's really, it's very ironic.
So yeah, yeah. Be encouraged. People are going to see what you're doing, and some of them will change their mind.
And because it's truth, it will prevail. It will prevail. It may not prevail in numbers, but it will prevail in quality of the work being done.
So what's your Instagram page? I'm going to link it and put your name here so that we can get a bunch of abolitionists to follow you.
Yeah, it's criminalize abortion now.
Okay, that's a good one.
And it's a good, just so everybody watching knows, it's a good page. It has good content. It has new information for like abolitionists that are watching this. It has new information that we may not have even known about before. So it's really good. It's been educational to me. So it's a good quality content Instagram.
Thank you.
So yeah, go check out. What did you say?
Criminalize abortion now.
Abortion now. Criminalize abortion now. I'll type up the words and try to remember to put a link down there. Go follow her on Instagram and share her content. How else can people find you on the line? That's your main thing that you're trying to build right now?
Yeah, it's just Instagram right now.
Okay, awesome. Okay, well, do you have any last minute things that you would like to share with my listeners before we shut down?
I don't think so.
Right on. Well, I just want to encourage Christine, Russell, James, Sam. Hey, thank you guys for putting out solid content. It's making a difference. This is one example of the good content you guys are putting out that has changed someone's mind who is now taking that content, rebranding it, and building a platform and sharing that content out. So thank you guys. And until next time, join the resistance and wield the sword of truth. Our Lord has left us here to navigate through this world as priests in the kingdom of God. Apply the mind of Christ and battle against the culture that hates God and loves death.